around the teleport gate in the square openly stared at the Flash and me as we lay on the grass. Some were shocked, others giggled, and some shamelessly set off their recording crystals, flashing as they photographed us. They couldn't be blamed. As the vice commander of the KOB, Asuna was a figure who struck fear into the hearts of children everywhere, the turbo engine who powered the extreme pace of our game conquest, while Kirito the solo player was, against his will, known as the bad boy of the class, the one who got together with miscreants to cause mischief when he ought to know better. Even I had to admit that I'd find the combination worthy of interest if I'd witnessed it. But I didn't want to wake her up and get yelled at, so my best move would be to get up and leave her behind. If only I could actually do that. For as the Flash lay sleeping, she was opening herself to not just several kinds of harassment, but the more than zero possibility that she could be PK'd as she slept. Yes, we were in the safe haven of the town square of the 59th floor's main city. Yes, we were within the anti-criminal code zone. This place made it impossible for a player to harm another player. A weapon strike would produce nothing but purple sparks, a visual effect that did no HP damage, and no poisons would have any effect either. On top of that, stealing was absolutely impossible. So within the safe haven, as the anti-criminal code suggested, it was impossible to commit any direct crimes against other players. This was as ironclad a rule within SAO as the one that said you would die if your HP dropped to 0. But unfortunately, there were a number of loopholes. One of them involved sleeping players. When a player was in an exhausted, near-blackout sleep after hours of battling, they might remain sleeping through moderate stimuli. Under this situation, a player could be challenged to a full-finish duel, and his hand could be moved by another to touch the OK button on his window. As such, he could be literally murdered in his sleep. Bolder than that was the plan to physically transport a player out of the safe zone. A player standing tall on his own 2 feet was protected by the code, but someone placed on a stretcher item was freely transportable. Both of these cases had been tested and pulled off before. The horrid, depraved dedication of the Red players knew no bounds. As a result of those tragedies, every player now made sure to fall asleep in a home or in-room with a locking door. Before I napped on the grass, I made sure to set my search skill to warn me of incoming targets, and I did not go into a deep sleep either. And yet it was clear to see that the Flash was emitting some hardcore delta waves next to me. I could scribble on her face with makeup items and she wouldn't wake. Either she was extremely bold, exceedingly stubborn, or totally exhausted, I bet, I muttered to myself. Depending on your build in SAO, solo play was the most efficient way of leveling up. And yet she took care of leveling her guild members and was managing to upgrade her own numbers at a pace approaching mine. She had to be cutting back on sleep to farm mobs late at night. I knew how tough that could be. 4 or 5 months ago, I'd been on the same hard EXP pace, and once I fell asleep, I was guaranteed out for several hours afterward. I swallowed a sigh, taking a beverage out of my inventory, and sat back down in the grass, preparing for a long haul. It was my suggestion that she sleep, so it was my responsibility to wait there until she awoke. Asuna the Flash finally arose with a tiny sneeze when the light filtering through the outer aperture of Aincrad was orange with the sunset. She'd achieved a full 8 hours of sleep. This was far more than just a simple nap. My stomach grumbling with the lack of lunch, I stared at her, eagerly anticipating the face she would make when the callous, unforgiving vice commander realized what had happened.